Heyo, welcome back everybody, this is EonShiKeno. We're going to take a look at some more DreamHack replays from the 2013 DreamHack Winter. Got a good match on our hands here. Let's go ahead and take a look at our two players on Whirlwind LE. Bottom left hand corner, Red Terran player. Who is it? It's going to be Millennium's ForGG. ForGG, two things come to mind when I think of ForGG. Great at TvT, and the moment that he lost all, I think it was 5 medevacs full of units versus Stefano to his own Widow Mines. So it's like a classic StarCraft moment I have embedded in my brain. If you haven't seen that, YouTube it. Pause this video, go YouTube it, and look at it because it's hilarious. But it's a hilarious moment. Anyways, maybe not the best thing to be remembered for, but it's definitely up there for me. So ForGG or Red Terran down here. And his opponent, the Blue Terran player, top right hand location, currently ranked number 2 on TeamLiquid.net's ELO rankings. It's going to be Liquid Tasia. Liquid Tasia has been a top Terran player in the entire scene for some time. Kind of one of those guys that you expect to probably win something every now and then, just because that's how good he is. Travels quite a bit, goes to many events, and he's just a really great Terran player overall. Though, unfortunately for him in this matchup, his worst matchup is a TvT with only 61 win percent, as opposed to his higher win percents versus Zerg and Protoss. I think his Protoss win percent's like 70-something percent. So, 61 win percent still pretty good, considering that's his worst matchup. But nevertheless, we've got a really good TvT player as ForGG, and we've got a Taeja, which is an amazing player in general. So we'll see how this works out. ForGG going with the Marines coming out, one gas popping up, but Taeja playing a little greedy. But of course, this is a good map to do that on. We're on Whirlwind, one of the most gigantic maps in StarCraft 2. Going for the CC first, followed up by barracks and a wall off. Gonna go ahead and scout. Down in the bottom left-hand corner. Actually gets a scout out much sooner than his opponent. His opponent not even scouting. Just going to make a couple Marines, throw up a reactor, and probably throw down a command center here in just a second. Yep, there it's going to go. So, right off the bat, it's definitely favoring Taeja, just because he's being more greedy. He's scouting for one, so he's getting scouting information, and he's also has an economic lead. He's going to throw up a barracks, got a bunker going up there too, going to pump out a couple Marines for defense, and this is just a really nice lead for Taeja as this game starts out. So the SCV walks right on in and doesn't get shut down, but the question is, did he see the command center? No, he didn't.
Upgrade complete.
He tried to sneak in around this right-hand corner, but it just didn't fly. 2 Marines were enough to shut him down. SV's starting to mine there at the natural, making a second gas in his main. And ForGG hasn't yet done the same. Still producing 2 Marines at a time, factory coming out. Still has yet to scout. 4 Marines out. Now he's throwing down a Starport, gonna do a little swapperoo here. So we'll see. Like I said, normally ForGG plays very aggressive, especially in TvT. Might be some, let's see, was he gonna make Hellions? Yep, Hellions. He might do the thing where he puts Hellions in his medevac, or Marines in the medevac, vice versa, and then he runs whatever he didn't put in the medevac up the natural. So he might put Hellions, run the Hellions up past the bunker. So what he might do is run the Hellions up here past the bunker, harass here at the exact same time, fly in the medevac, drop some Marines, and go for a 2-prong attack. But we already see Taeja is doing a full wall off here, so that won't be as effective because the Hellions just can't run. They can't run over supply depots. Otherwise, that might be a little bit imbalanced. But no, he's not going to go with that. He's going to make a Viking instead, playing defensive. Still going to have 2 Hellions out, so he can run around and scout with that if he wants to. He has started his scouting. He's got 1 Hellion way over here, 1 way up in the top left, so that puts him up to 4. But he's going to come to the last location. Taeja also making some Hellions. So let's see here. What is he going to go with? Is this going to be mech or bio? I'm kind of just, it's looking more and more mech-like, I would say, for both of these players. I haven't seen, okay, I was about ready to say, we haven't seen Gas at the Natural just yet, but there it goes. Let's see when ForGG throws his down. And another big key factor is if you're flying your barracks across the map, more than likely you're not going to go bio in this situation. Especially when you go Viking. Usually when you go Viking, first out of your factory, you definitely want to, you do that if you scout for a Banshee, of course, but it's definitely one thing you want to do if you're going to go for mech. So another factory goes down, so this is looking like a mech versus mech game. TvT for Tasia versus ForGG. Third command center being built for ForGG. Tasia also flying his barracks out across the map, so dueling barracks on the map. And it's just a macro game here for both players. And of course, like I said earlier, this is definitely favoring Tasia just because he had that greedier opening with that faster command center. Didn't go for the barracks first option like ForGG did. And you can look in the supplies up here, 81 versus 68. That's all, maybe not 100% because of it. Maybe the macro of Tasia is just a slightly better, but the majority of that is due to the fact that he got that command center up. And little greedy plays like that can make a world of a difference whenever you're 8 minutes further on into the game. So ForGG has been playing defensive. He's left these Marines at home, hasn't yet found any Banshees or anything like that. He's landed his barracks way over here, which is a good location to scout out a future 4th or 3rd, but the Hellions come over here, they'll check it out, and he'll just lift up in the sky. There he goes. Likewise, this barracks from his opponent's flying over here to the right, but the Marines move in to intercept. Will they get it? This thing could probably fly all the way over here, but I guess they're not going to go check out all the way over there. Scan goes down. Definitely seeing an extra factory here. Hasn't yet made a 3rd factory. Wait. Yep, there it is. There's the 3rd factory. And this is a lot of Hellions. Tasia's got Blue Flame coming out. He's got 2 Vikings coming out now, too. So this is going to be Hellions, Vikings, and a Raven. And what's he going to do here? Is he just going to sit back and play, or is he going to go for an attack? He hasn't yet started a 3rd command center. Which makes me think he might be pushing out here to play aggressive. And ForGG, likewise, has some Hellions, but doesn't have as many. He only has 1 bunker and doesn't have any tanks to defend against this. And he doesn't have a wall off, which could be a problem. Supply definitely favoring him at this point. One wouldn't mind getting taken out. I think he got 1 kill there. Let's check the supply. Army different. Look at that, the spending. 5,100 versus 3,100. That's a huge army difference for these players. And if we go to, whoops, worker count, actually nothing's been killed so far. Pretty inactive game, but Tasia is going to land his Vikings, and here he's going to go for it. He's going to try and bust this ramp with a lot of Hellions. He's got Blue Flame. He's going to go. There's no siege tanks for ForGG, and the Vikings need to land. They've killed the Raven, but now they need to land. They need to kill the rest of the stuff, kind of picking off Vikings as they fly. And he's attacking a barracks. He needs to not do that. And ForGG with the bunker and the repair managed to hold for the time being. And that attack turned out to be a bad idea for Tasia. The supply now in favor of ForGG. Let's check the worker kill count. He got 10 there. Maybe it was 9 because he already killed 1 more. But yeah, that didn't work out the greatest there for Tasia. And of course, he is actually behind his opponent now because ForGG has had this 3rd command center for a little bit longer than his opponent. His opponent just now morphing into an orbital. So Tasia kind of took his advantage, which was all those extra units, and he tried to play offensive with that, but it just didn't play out. ForGG not only saved his base, lost a minimal amount of workers, but has a Viking lead, I would imagine, at this point. Let's see, we got 9 versus 6, so yeah, a decent Viking lead. And on top of that, he still has his Raven, which is building up some energy, while his opponent lost his Raven, lost his Vikings, and has been forced to rebuild that. So let's check the upgrades where we're at this point. Actually, never mind. We're gonna have Tasia come in here and eat some tank shots. He's like, 1 free tank, that's a good kill for me, but no, the rest of the army shows up, and Tasia's gonna lose so many extra forces here. Oh man, this is just Tasia overcommitting day. Winning to take out that tank, didn't even get it, lost pretty much at least 50% of his forces there. Headstrong Tasia. So let's check the upgrades. We've got 1-1 coming out in mech for Tasia, and we've got 1 attack upgrade already done for ForGG. So he's winning the upgrade race, but does he have a second? No, he doesn't. He only has 1 armory, but he's not upgrading anything right now. So in just a moment, as soon as these upgrades finish, that will put Tasia in the lead as far as upgrades go. And we still have ForGG sitting on 1 upgrade, just working that attack. Not really going with the armor as much, which, you know, I think it's a smart thing to do, especially if you're going to make a bunch of tanks. Armor isn't as effective as attack is in these scenarios when you have siege tanks. It's pretty good on Vikings, of course. But, so, let's check just the army here from both of these guys. 79 versus 99, so that's a big difference here as far as army supply goes. And it's probably mostly siege tanks. We got 5 siege tanks versus 0. That's a problem. 12 versus 15. So Viking count is a little bit normalized. Thor count 4 versus none. So, okay, we have 4 Thors versus all the 5 extra tanks, and those 4 Thors may prove to be much more effective here. Thor's doing a lot of damage to those Vikings before they even show up, but since ForGG does have these siege tanks, he can slowly siege his opponent. But since he's been losing the air superiority here, those siege tanks aren't going to matter at all. And ForGG just gets completely shut down by this combination of Tasia. And these Vikings are just kind of flying over, you know, getting free scans. His opponent scan's going to go down there by ForGG in the front. And the Thors are looking ready to do some damage. The siege tanks aren't sieging just yet. They're just going to work on the rest of those Hellions. Vikings landing in the back. And now ForGG is going to pick up and move. He doesn't want to face those Thors head on, getting a couple more reinforcements. Now he's going to turn and come back into this fight. Tasia only has 2 tanks, 3 tanks, one of them sieged up. So ForGG slowly streaming in reinforcements across the map. Now he's got his 3rd up and running, just like his opponent does. Both players have an eye on their possible opponent's 4th base. No eye yet on any player taking a 4th base. Actually, scratch that. We have an expansion being built for Tasia at his 3rd base. Doing some nice repair on the Vikings. Got to keep those guys alive. Supply still favoring ForGG, 164 versus 148. Definitely have to say that those Thors, you know, we saw Tasia skip the tanks and pretty much go all Thor production until he got about 4 of those guys out, and then switching in the siege tanks. And that proved his like power spike to be perfect, exactly when he needed it, because the Vikings got completely shut down. And the tanks really didn't have an ability to siege his opponent because he didn't have the air superiority that he needs to gain that extra range that siege tanks have. So at this point, he just has a lot of siege tanks. He's got a lot of Hellbats. He's upgraded those guys. And he just got a pretty large force, 25 supply lead versus Tasia. So this is going to be all about defense. Tasia has got some siege tanks, but does he have enough? He's got a couple Vikings. He's got some Thors there in the back, but does he have enough to hold off this massive force from ForGG? More units still streaming across the map. He's got some more siege tanks coming out. More units coming on the line. We have a... where's that at? Oh, there it is, sensor tower. I was like, I see a sensor tower on the map, but I can't see those hiding behind a fat door. And this is where ForGG is looking to siege on that 3rd. Hasn't yet found the exact location. Let's take out those rocks first. Let's make that opening as wide as possible. Now, where is he going to go? Is he going to come down from the bottom here, maybe attack from this right-hand side and come up here from the left? But he does scout out the command center. He's trying to build a planetary. That's a panic planetary if I've ever seen one. He's like, oh shit, I better make some stuff. So a couple of siege tanks getting position on the left. Gonna get a nice siege tank there due to the AI. And get a couple pot shots on that Thor there. So this is just ForGG trying to push his weight around the map, maintaining position, setting up his 4th base, making a 5th base here. It might be just a planetary for later on if he feels he needs the defense. Using the barracks as vision. And Tajia's going to make a nice push here through the center, taking out a couple of those siege tanks, trying to hold map control, but Thors eat those shots up pretty well. ForGG scans. Does he like what he sees? He's got a lot of siege tanks. He's got even more Hellbats, and now we got it. Both players have blue flame upgrade. Yes, they do. Thors in the back, making it rain. Siege tanks in the back here from Tasia, sieged up, of course. But ForGG is kind of pushing on forward. Just so many siege tanks. Look at that. He's got a tanks at the top from Tasia, but there might just be too many tanks here from ForGG. Oh, it's hard to say. ForGG's got a little bit of a tank lead. Yeah, he's got a little bit of a tank lead. Look at that. But some of these guys are very low on health. They could die from just 1 or 2 possible shots here. And with these SCVs and this one siege tank, no, that goes down. But these guys are just so low. It's like these SCVs may just be able to kill 1 or 2 of them. No, not enough. But with this small of a force, he can kind of siege up and maybe do a little bit of damage. But this is definitely soft contained from his opponent. As soon as one Thor comes out, I think he can just kind of walk out here and push it. But this is a bad situation. Even though these units are just so low on life, like look at these guys, 2 life, 4 life, 7 life. just the damage output from these siege tanks is huge, and Tasia doesn't want this position to get any stronger, sends out SCVs to go for the attack. SCVs in the back, gonna take out one siege tank, take out a second one, and gets the third one. SCVs racking up the kills this game, but you can look on the mini-map, just the stream of forces from ForGG pushing across the map, the third base over here not mining whatsoever, and ForGG just may have turned this lead into a victory on Whirlwind. And Tasia just doesn't have much to speak of. He doesn't have that many workers. Supply lead huge now, over double for ForGG. Workers 61 versus 29, having to sacrifice a couple of those SCVs a little while ago to stay in the game. But it may have been a futile attempt. ForGG playing it slow and steady, doesn't want to, overextend like Tasia maybe did at the beginning of the game, and then once again, once he lost quite a few Hellions to that one siege tank attempt. Base down here mining. There's a planetary down there, but he can easily take that out. But he's, trying to apply as much pressure as he can to the middle. And a couple mules here from Tasia trying to sneak in a couple extra minerals while he's slowly getting peeled away here by ForGG using this barracks. This is the most effective barracks I've ever seen used. He's been using this barracks for vision. He scouted out this base down here. He delayed the base for a little bit. And there's the GG from ForGG, or sorry, GG from Tasia. ForGG takes the victory, and just with the extra Hellbats, the soft contain was turned into a stronger, harder contain, applied pressure to the third, and just slowly choked off Tasia from resources. And that's going to put ForGG 1-up versus Tasia in this best-of-3 scenario. But as I was saying right there at the very end, this barracks was so useful. This is the best minerals on a barracks he has ever spent, scouting out everything, giving him high ground vision for siege tanks. Worked out great for him. And sticking with the upgrades, he had 2-1 there at the very end of the game versus Tasia, which ended up getting 2-2. So game number 1 of the series is over. We'll head on into game number 2 coming up next on my channel. Check back for more, youtube.com/EonShiKeno. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.